que bajar a comer. Vas a tener que comer lo que yo te, la cantidad que yo te doy. Y si tú me sirves mucho, no, te voy a servir poquito, pero vas a comer junto con nosotros.
Pero si no, ok, si como con ustedes y no me gusta y lo como un poquito, puedo comer a mitad y dejarlo.
Yo te voy a dar la porción que tú necesitas.
No, porque yo no quiero, si tú me sirves.
Atención, y tienes que venir a pensar, ok, ya comí el dinner, no puedo comer más.
Y si yo ya comí ese día,
No,
¿qué digo?
¿y qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? Si estás teniendo una mala actitud. Tienes una mala actitud porque no estás bajando de peso, estás tragando cada rato. Todo el mundo me está diciendo que no estás compartiendo con nosotros. Es que estás haciendo mal tierra porque según yo te estoy ayudando. Y mira lo que estás diciendo. No como porque tú haces horrible.
No, yo como.
No,
yo
escucha.
como comida,
Ya,
es verdad.
a mí no me gusta. Y yo pensando que, ok, como no le gusta, mejor. Ella baje de peso.
Sí, así es.
No, tú estás tragando hoy en día. Estás comiendo en el día y por eso sigues así de gordo. Por eso sí no puedes bajar. Okay. Entonces vas a comer dinero y es tu problema si quieres mantener ese peso.
For those who do not speak Spanish, the mom, it's saying, you are literally swallowing. You're swallowing. You're not eating, but in a bad way, like not normal swallowing. They say swallowing in a way of like a pig. Ah! Like chugging it all down in your throat. You know what I mean? That's what basically the mom is saying to her. And look at her. The lady, the little kid, she's skinny. Like, what would she call her? Fat. I feel like the mom is projecting here, but she literally is saying like, you're chugging it down all down your throat. You're not eating. Like, what the hell's going on here? The lady, the little kid, she's skinny. But the lady, she's like really there, putting it just there, trying to make her daughter feel bad. After my divorce, I went to live with my mother for almost a year. And during that time, she would call me often a bad mother. And she would always scream at me almost all the time, every single day. There was always screaming, there was always yelling. And in between all those fights and all those screams, she would just yell at me and tell me that I was a bad mother. I remember when I just had my kid, he was like 2 years old, and he wanted to go out to the street, and he was crying because of that, because he wanted to be on the street. But I had just taken him out for like an hour. We were just there walking and going everywhere, but he wanted to be still out there. It was getting dark, and there's a lot of cars coming and everything. I went inside, and my mother, she told me that I was a bad mother, because my baby was crying. He wanted to be outside on the street, and I was like, no, baby, we can go tomorrow. We don't need to go right now. Like, he was just trying to be out there. And of course, the baby the kids are gonna like cry, right? All the kids are gonna cry because they want to be outside for long periods of time. But I had other things to do. I already took him out there for an hour. I feel like it was time for us to be inside. And my mom, just because of that, she told me that I was a bad mother. And I remember that was one of the first times that she told me that I was a bad mother. I'm sure she told me before. I'm sure, but I can't remember. In that situation, with that situation, she never apologized. And it hurted my heart. I was like, a bad mother? What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Are you serious? Are you saying that I'm a bad mother just because I don't let my kid be outside in the street in the night at 9 o'clock where all the freaking cars, and we're in Mexico. Mind you, we were in Mexico. You never know what could happen over there in Mexico in the night, okay? So, and I just started thinking, like, she's projecting, because she has not been a great mother. Of course not. She's projecting. And it got me to think about that, she, like, how our mothers turn the insults that they give us in a way of, like, describing themselves, you know? So whenever I was living with my mom after my separation, that's all she would call me, a bad mother. But I was like, am I? I'm not a bad mother. I was always very, and it just feels like, okay, she's just been projecting. She lost almost all her kids now at this point. And it got me thinking, like, okay, so mothers most of the time gives us insults that would describe them perfectly. Like this girl, she was like calling her daughter ugly. Like, why are you calling her ugly? What are you talking about? Why are you calling your own daughter ugly? And if you look at yourself, you're the ugly one. You know, people are describing themselves when throwing insults at their daughters. Usually it's because of competition, because of jealousy, because these people see their daughters as competition. So they're trying to degrade them in any way possible, but they don't realize that they're projecting and they're really just throwing all their insecurities that they have into their daughter. So a lot of these insults that our mothers have given us is because they see those insults in themselves. They're literally projecting. And I want to talk about this because nobody really talks about this situation. It feels like we're just letting these mothers get away with everything. We know that they're narcissists, and a lot of us, for the better of the situation, is just to go no contact. So yeah, I want to know, what insults have your mother has given to you, was told you, and if you really think about it, is it describing her? Was it something that she was projecting onto you and you realized, like, hey, I mean, you're describing yourself basically. You're my mother. You're describing yourself. You're telling me that I'm ugly. You're telling me that I'm fat, but you're the fat one. You're telling me that, because a lot of these mothers, they're describing their daughters like, ooh, you better watch out your weight. You better watch out what you're eating. Look at you. You're eating like a pig. And the mother, it's huge as hell. Huge as hell. You know what I mean? A lot of the times the mothers are just describing themselves, and we need to realize this situation so we can just throw them back at their faces. Tell me what you think about this situation in the comments. Tell me if you have experienced this situation, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.